It's kind of funny that we just call you Lackey, not Josh Lackey, because the definition of lackey is not a good thing. I mean, unless you want to be a servant, especially livered footman or manservant.
Uh, not,
It's too early for
not
that
really
shit,
sure how to
Dan.
respond.
It's too early for that. Why are you throwing out this morning? I can't think. Okay. Good morning, Trey. Good morning, Bell. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Fabi. Good morning, Mara. Good morning, Cassie. Dun 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 dun. Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Multi-speaker. All right. It is
Oh,
Tuesday. It's 8:01. Time for some fun. Trey, did you just huck a baby into a vehicle? Oh, okay. Also, that man is manhandling a little man, at least a little person.
I'm making them strong.
There you go. You know what? That's the who was the Greek person that carried an ox every day?
um, no idea.
All right. Milo of Croton, famously trained by carrying a calf every single day so that he got strong enough to carry a full-grown bull. There you go. I may not know people's names, but I definitely know their stories. So, speaking of stories, what are yours? What are your wins, your celebrations, something you're just dang proud of?
I fell out of escrow due to an inspection. The buyer never called me to see what credits we could give. Put the home back on the market, and I have a offer higher than that one, and they've removed inspection contingencies.
You know what they say, when one door closes,
You get a better offer without
that's
inspection contingencies.
exactly what they say. Love that.
So yeah.
Um,
I heard
can
an
you hear me? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, we can. You're driving, quit looking at the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a good time at the pickleball tournament. I met a lot of people, and after I was talking with this guy, he said, "I got your card, so when I get ready to sell my house, I'll give you a call." So I'm out there.
Good. Get out there and
um,
snuggle into
yeah,
people's lives.
yeah. So it was fun. Me and my partner, we took third place in the tournament. It was fun, and I just picked up another referral.
Yeah, you did.
All right, that's my win.
My buyer is closed today.
That's amazing. Way to go.
We
Yep.
had a really challenging negotiation yesterday, Dan. May I share?
Yes, please
I
do.
think it's a win because they finally agreed. Someone wanted a new roof, a new HVAC, and 5 other repairs. And it's like, this is really unreasonable. And because the house is in incredible shape. But we were within $2,500 of what my seller was willing to give. And I was willing to give 2,500 off my commission on a $574,000 house. And the other agent said, I can't believe you're asking me to do that. And I have never had to do that. And so I asked nicely and she wouldn't do it. So I just put it in an addendum back so that her sellers could, or her buyers could see that she wasn't willing to give 2,500 to make the deal work. And of course, they sent it back saying, yeah, we want that.
I think
Awesome.
I've seen that happen before. It's almost like when you pull the veil back, you're like, hey,
She said,
people
I have never had to give up my commission. I've never asked any other agent. And I'm like, well, it's
there's
not
a
that unusual. Good
first
for
time for
you.
everything, my guy. My girl, whatever they were, my person. I've done that before. I appreciate that your willingness to find a creative solution. And great job not giving up and just kind of laying down. Fantastic job fighting for your client. All right. For those of you on yesterday, was it a good call? I want everyone that missed yesterday to
Always.
feel bad.
Yes, it was excellent. Probably the best call we've ever had.
Yeah, probably honestly was. It genuinely was on fire. It was one of the best interactions we've ever had. So if you missed it yesterday, I'm sorry. There's no live recording.
Oh, man.
Oh man. It just shows you the power of a Monday. How we set ourselves off for the week is how we improve ourselves throughout the process. So I like the conversation around negotiations. What other negotiation tactics, topics, situations do you guys want to talk about this morning? I think that's a fantastic place for us to start today.
Well, one of my tips for newer agents, I tell my folks to not ask for more than like 5 things on a Benzer because sellers are liable to throw up their hands and just say no. You get more by asking for less, frankly. And I do group things. Like if it's plumbing and there's like 2 or 3 items, I still call it one item. But
Yeah.
you kind of get the idea that you are going to get the seller to do more if you ask for a reasonable amount of stuff.
You're absolutely right. Like if the toilet's loose and there's a leaky faucet in the kitchen, the garbage disposal's stuck, and the outside spigot by the garage is all bad. If you write down 4 separate line items, numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, it looks like 4 different things. But if you group them all together in one, like Mara said, seller shall have licensed plumber come in and replace the garbage disposal, take care of the leaky faucet in the kitchen, tighten the toilet in the master bath or the primary bathroom, and resecure the leaky and replace the leaky faucet spigot by the garage. That's one item. It's a lot more work, but to the perception, it seems like less. Anyone know what the acronym TLDR means?
Oh,
TLDR. I can clearly tell you guys aren't very much Redditors, long post readers. TLDR stands for too long, didn't read. Anyone ever got an email or a text that was just too long? You're like, I'm not reading that right now.
100%, Dan. 100.
Every day, every single day.
I've had my wife text me something, and I will literally reply with, "I'm not reading that, babe. Just call me."
TLDR, too long, don't read.
Mhm.
So that's the thing is when you send over a request for repairs that is a mile long, are you not getting that same impact?
Yep.
So great point, Mara. Love that. For new agents, for experienced agents, for anyone asking for repairs, what can you group together almost by discipline, right? Electricians, plumbers, handymen, right? Things that are just generic elements you can pop together and say, hey, this is all this category of work. So
Also, other creative solutions. Like first, my sellers thought about offering a 2-year warranty that would help cover everything. That of course went through the wayside, but more companies are offering that. So just as another thought, because that helps cover the HVAC and that sort of thing.
2-year warranty. So I know Christina did something like this on a house recently. Can we pre-negotiate?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. On the listing side, very easy. Pre-negotiate. What are some ways that you as a listing agent can pre-negotiate? Mara just gave you one.
You can do an inspection.
Right?
Yes.
There's a great one. That's a big thing in California, isn't it, Fabi?
Yes.
Like you guys already have the inspections done.
Quotes and everything. You know exactly what's going to cost what.
Right?
I don't know if this counts for like well, not really for pre-inspection, but for buyer's agents, before I send back a Binzer, anything that we're going to be asking them for, I get quotes on separately, so we know exactly how much it's going to be. That way you can say, hey, if the seller doesn't want to do it, X, Y, and Z can already do it for 2,000, whatever.
Yeah. I think having quotes is a good idea. So if you're a listing agent, pre-inspection, that way you kind of have your bill of health. That was a weird accent. Your bill of health moving into a transaction with estimates, quotes. Hell, maybe the work's even done. Remember, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. And if you're not good at math, one is a lot smaller than the other. Because if you get it done beforehand, we don't have to deal with it. Now, buyer's agents, put your buyer agent's hat on. If you walk into a listing and on the counter is a binder that says inspection report dated 3 days ago, right? How much more confident is your buyer in that property?
Way more, Dan, way more.
See, when I ask a question, guys, it's often not rhetorical. I want your brains to seek it, soak it, and adapt it.
My clients that are closing today, whenever we first did our first showing, the agent said, we just had a roofer that was over there, and there's about $3,600 worth of work, and we're getting it taken care of. And that was such a it was almost like a breath of fresh air for my clients, because they were like, finally, like, problems are coming up, you're taking care of them. So yeah, that was a big plus for them.
Well, here's why I think it's a good idea to pre-inspect. Now your sellers aren't going to be blindsided by it. Josh, it's not fair. You can't bring a Labrador into this conversation.
Golden Retriever.
Ah, close enough. You're about at half an inch size on my screen right now, so. But when we can do other things to pre-negotiate a deal. Well, pre-inspection, how's that pre-negotiation? Well, just like Caitlin says, you came in with the understanding that there's already $3,700 worth of roof work to be done. We're taking care of it. Now, my buyer has more confidence to move forward with an offer, or maybe even a higher offer, because those issues that we saw on the outside, maybe those are part of the issues that are getting repaired or remedied or taken care of.
My buyers went up. Oh, sorry. I was going to say my buyers went up 10,000 in negotiations because they were competing, but they felt confident in doing that because they were saying, well, they have already taken care of the AC. They've maintained the home really well. That's it.
Yeah. I love that idea. Let's go and pre-inspect a home. Let's get in there and have those conversations. Yes, it's an upfront expense on the seller, and sometimes the sellers can't afford it. But if I get you a report that's 90 some pages long that has thousands of items that needs to be addressed and touched, and you're getting your house ready for sale, is that not going to give us some very powerful momentum in what to do and what not to do? Because now we can sit down, and this is us as a listing professional, go and say, okay, these are the eight items that I would have you do before we go on the market. Because in my experience, I've seen these 8 things create bigger problems down the road. So how much is a pre-inspection? $700?
Hey, Dan, I got a question.
Yeah, what do you got?
Let's say that you're selling your house and you have a home, like a warranty, like a home warranty plan to cover, AC, because your AC unit's getting old. And it's covered. Does that transfer to the new buyer? Like if you have a 1-year warranty, does it transfer?
Sometimes. Yeah, it depends on your warranty company. A lot of those will transfer to the new owners, whatever's left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Because I was just thinking that could be a good incentive too, because I might have to sell my house next year. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
You don't have warranty now, girlfriend. Get it now. But
Yeah.
that's actually where I was going with next, is when you have an inspection.
Yeah.
And you also have yourself a home warranty, Does that not give you kind of a list of things to go after and say, hey, home warranty, come? Because if you have 5 different plumbing issues, I can pitch that to a warranty manager, or one of our field reps that helps us out, and say, hey, this is all one service call. So for $100 service call, I'm getting those 5 items taken care of.
Yeah, that's great.
Versus 5 separate calls.
Yes. But
Now we're going into, I can say, hey, brand new water heater, AC is only 6 months old, roof was just repaired last year, garbage disposal was new in May. Am I not creating confidence? I'm pre-negotiating by throwing more value out there. Buyers aren't afraid to buy. Buyers are afraid of making a bad decision. Why do we have warranties on anything?
In case things break.
Because shit happens.
Give confidence.
It's also a confidence thing. What product do you know out there right now has a lifetime warranty?
A roof?
I wish a roof had a lifetime warranty, babes.
The steel roof don't?
Steel roofs do not. 15, 20 years max.
Oh.
But Aaron had it. Tools, right? Tools have a lifetime warranty. Why? Because is it hard to break a tool?
I guess.
Here's this hunk of steel.
A good quality tool, yeah.
Yeah, a hunk of steel. Here's my hunk of steel. $5. It'll fix your thingamajigger. Here's my hunk of stool. Don't buy a hunk of stool. Here's a hunk of steel that I'm now going to name a tool, and I'm going to give it a lifetime warranty. $35. Same shit.
Come on, little ones.
Different value. Crazy, right?
Crazy.
When we provide that value up front, is that not pre-negotiating? All right, let's get away from repairs. Let's get away from inspections. Let's get away from the mindset of broken or non-maintained. Let's expect the house to be maintained, updated, and market ready, okay? What are some other ways we can pre-negotiate a deal?
Seller concessions up front.
Yeah.
Seller concessions up front.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard that multiple times. Offering seller concessions.
Offering money back towards closing costs or buying down the rate.
Yeah, we call those seller concessions. Different vernaculars, same thing. Offering up money up front, saying, hey, we will help out with blank amount of money towards your buyer's closing costs. Where do new builds win right now?
Rate buy downs.
Amenities.
Can you do a rate buy down on a resale house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that not a pre-negotiation?
Yep.
Yeah.
Seller goes to the lender, says, hey, I got a lending partner. Let's do a pre-market rate buy down for the next 90 days. If you close in 90 days, you get a 5.75% rate or a 5.25% rate. It only cost them $6,000. How cool would that be you got your yard sign at the bottom, it says close by blank date, 5.25% rate. But Dan, I got to get a custom sign made. It'll cost you $20. Is it worth it?
Put it on a piece of cardboard.
Oh yeah, CAD approved.
Definitely worth it.
It's definitely worth it. But what we're doing is, are we not pre-negotiating?
Yes. Thinking outside the box. Actually.
And the box is the normal shit buyers and sellers do every day. So what do we do differently? We pre-negotiate. Okay. I'm going to offer concessions. Boom. There's a big thing, especially at a price point for new to like fairly new homeowners, whatever that is for your area. How many renters right now would move into a house or something they own, a condo, townhouse, whatever, if the out-of-pocket expense wasn't so much?
I'm actually working that deal, the exact deal right now with one of my new clients, first time home buyer. And he's technically paying his landlord's rent or landlord's mortgage but I'm working a deal to get the rate lower so he has a lower mortgage payment.
Yeah. And we can do that during negotiations. We can do a buy down with concessions, or if the buyer has extra down payment, they can use that to buy down the rate or to prepay HOA fees for a year. You can do all kinds of stuff. So we can literally create potential buyers by offering solutions that just make it easier for them to buy this house. $300,000 price point. What's 3%?
9,000.
$9,000. Is $9,000 a lot of money to a buyer?
Yes.
Yeah. So if I just made buying this house $9,000 more affordable, cash out of pocket, how does that look for my potential client pool?
Gets larger.
Absolutely. So we pre-negotiate the rate, we pre-negotiate some concessions, we pre-negotiate repairs. Where else can we pre-negotiate a deal?
Talking with our seller, figuring out a timeline.
There you go. Understanding what's important on timeline. Do we need to sometimes pre-negotiate with our own clients?
I was just gonna say that, Dan,
Mhm.
like this isn't between the client and the buyer, for example, but doing things like seller net sheets, having those conversations about what we might be facing when it comes to it and determining what the pot of dollars are or what we're willing to maybe not advertise up front, but keep up our sleeve to make a deal.
Yeah. Knowing the path that you're going to walk down, pretty fantastic. Not that I want to walk down that path, but knowing that if they come back and say X, Y, and Z, then we have A, B, and C lined up. Pre-negotiating might just be setting expectations. Hey, this is ugly. You're going to have to fix it. Hey, this stands out. You might want to put that away. Hey, this might polarize some people. Maybe we put that in the closet. That's not a monetary negotiation. However, it is a psychological one. Because if I can create more interest in your property, does that not bode better for your pocketbook?
Absolutely.
But having the conversations with
Christine,
both sides. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Christina, what are some of the things you keep up your sleeve that you later then pull out?
Well,
Sword.
like, so one, exactly that in cards. Like I have one closing today that there were 9 other homes for sale just in that one neighborhood, and it's not super large. We looked at what was moving, what wasn't, obviously what were the winning strategies or characteristics, and then we looked at what the average seller concession was and price reductions. It kind of took the big financial picture into play to see where do people start and where do they ultimately end up, what can we expect in this neighborhood with everything that we have, like 1-for-1 comps, for days. And so then we kind of took that, okay, what would be the max that you would do? We offered half of that up front. So like, for example, they were willing to offer $10,000 in concessions. We advertised it as $5,000, knowing we kept $5,000 back in the bank. The buyers were great with that. But then when a bigger request for a roof came in, which we also knew about, and we're kind of like, we'll see what happens with that. Then I said, well, remember, we already talked about you being okay with, we were going to out of the gate offer another $5,000. So if we do this to make the deal happen, isn't that what you were already willing to do before this journey even started?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But that was running several net sheets too, different scenarios. I do that with all my sellers up front, is looking at, obviously we deep dive on the comps, pricing strategy, right alongside selling strategy, and then run multiple seller net sheets so that they when we get an offer that's below asking, or we get something that's asking for home warranty, and I build in like possible inspection repair expenses into that too. I pad it, right? So it's almost like a worst case scenario type of thing. And I present that to them and I'm like, how does this feel? Because this is what we're seeing out there. So I don't want the first time they're seeing it to be when we get an offer come across the table and they go, whoa, 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 this is crap, garbage, blah, blah, blah. It's not a total sticker shock, right? And then we do our job and we hopefully fall somewhere in the middle.
I like that.
And FYI, I have my sellers sign off on my net sheets.
Okay.
Trick of the trade, just so they go, oh, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, we did, and you signed it. So, like, let's get back to what we talked about before.
Where did you learn all this stuff from, Christina?
I don't know, man. There's this one like bald guy that wears purple shirts on a specific day of the week, and like this whole crew of people that listen to what he says a lot of times. It's weird.
Man.
It's like kind of like a cult, but not like a cult.
Sounds like cultish. Very cultish.
Heard of him too.
But I mean, she's absolutely right. Creating those expectations so that they aren't surprises, having that process in your business creates consistency over time because your job is to provide the seller with the ease of doing business. And part of that is negotiating with them up front, saying, hey, this is what we're seeing. This is what we're expecting. This is what I'm going to fight against. Here are the dragons that I am going to go to battle on your behalf for. And if I lose the battle, we still sell the house. This is where you're going to be. Now we just work back from there. Massive, massive, massive. To pre-negotiate or set expectations so that when you're under contract, there's not this, oh man, it's, you know what? You warned me about that. Hey, you know what? This is the exact situation you were telling me about, wasn't it? Yes. Now, other thoughts on pre-negotiation?
I just wanted to get some feedback. I called the listing agent on on a house that my buyer wanted to get, and I asked her, all the terms, things that were important to her, and everything like that. And I feel like she kind of like hid the topic of like the commission because she countered us with 0 commission back. And I was just like wondering, like, why would she? I mean, she wanted us to submit an offer and not deter us, but I don't know. I was like, why didn't you say that up front? I don't know.
And the way that she approached it, and that was the one you put in the group chat, right?
Yeah.
The way she approached it was a little hostile.
Very aggressive. Yeah, very aggressive, we'll say. I was like, okay, why are you on the market then? Why are you on the MLS?
I feel like a lot of agents are scared to talk about commission. Like it's this like uncomfortable thing that they don't want to talk about what they're offering or not offering.
Yeah. I was just like, we gave you a full over asking offer. I don't see a buyer wanting to offer that. And then on top of that, having to, pay out of pocket for like a buyer's agent. I was just trying to understand like what your strategy was to go on the MLS then. So it didn't work out. My buyers also didn't want that house after all.
And she kind of made it seem, I don't remember if it was a she or he, but they made it apparent that they were difficult to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Does that not create friction that our buyers and sellers don't want to move through?
Yeah. She was like, I don't get what you don't understand.
Yeah. How often are we going to find a client that loves the house so much they're going to deal with an asshole on the other side?
Well, I was like really hoping that they wouldn't want to do that. I was like, please.
I would tell you in my experience in the hundreds and hundreds of deals that I've overlooked, thousands at this point, that I can say that a majority of time when a client runs into an asshole, they tend not to want to buy the house anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-negotiation also is behavioral manipulation. I would say manipulation, behavioral expectation conversations. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
If you want to be difficult, that's fine. Be difficult. Don't work in the public space. If you want to be a grumpy kiss and just, you're going to waste all of your energy because you're going to blow people out of the water. I have an investor right now that's buying a triplex, and the listing agent, who's my client, is a bit of an asshole. And I have done everything in my power to keep this deal together by filtering what my client says to not be so sharp and aggressive to the other side. That's a beautiful thing. He's working with me. The other side, he's actually an agent on, like, they know each other. They can't communicate together, so they need an intermediary. But if you're going to be the agent and you're going to be a grumpy kiss, you're probably going to blow some people out of the water because they don't want to work with you. Another side of this is I've got a deal right now that closes in November. That's a $500,000 house in a 55+ community that gets tons of traffic. But the listing agent has been one of the easiest I've ever dealt with. He feels like he's part of the team. So my buyers are willing to do just about anything to make this deal work. And the sellers are doing just about anything to make the deal work. Does that make it an easier situation for us all? Remember, we are working together, not in opposition. So the last thought, and we're going to end on this, you guys can expand upon yourself, is the pre-negotiating with the other side. Starting a relationship to build rapport so that you guys can get over tough situations together. If you're not working together, you're working in operation. You're working in opposition, and now it's just the measure of who's the biggest jerk. I guarantee that if you play that game, there is no winner. People bring me those tough jerk clients all the time because they expect me to be what I normally am, as a big tough jerk, but I'm not. I just know how to be firm but fair. So remember that. Keep it on the level. Was today worth your time?
Absolutely.
Love
Always.
seeing you guys on. Good to have a couple of you back, have a couple newbies on here. Thank you so much for being a part of the community. We will see you tomorrow morning. Let's bring some objections and work through that, okay? And just like every day, we're going to